Hello, Tire Guy friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another orc mode workout. Today was max effort squat day, and you guys know the rules. Before you watch me miss the lift, miss this PR, which is few and far between, you have to click like down below. Have to help keep the likes higher than the dislikes. Only you guys can do that. So went ahead and went for 91 pounds of chain weight. I did this a few weeks ago before my 552 raw PR. 502, I got it. Now, realistically, that was a training max. People are asking me already on the miss, what would happen? Did you miss groove? No, I overshot my max. Okay, I was simply not strong enough to lift this weight. Had I gone 10 pounds lighter, I think I would have got it. But you know what? Could have, would have, should have. Boo-hoo-hoo. Right? We can't be emotionally attached to mislifts, and we cannot be afraid of mislifts. It's something I tell you guys all the time. That includes me. And I crawl out from under it just fine, recollect my senses, walk over, and just casually walk over and turn the camera off. And I think that shows that I maintain a pretty good level of cool when I miss a lift. Now, if you guys notice there, I just flat ran out of steam. Now, some people are like, you missed it halfway up. What do you mean 10 pounds difference with those chains? It's because of the eccentric rep on the chains. The eccentric rep, when you're doing heavy chain work, anyone who's ever used it knows it bleeds a ton of energy. Trying to slow it down up at the top, right? It's hard, it's rough. So people have also asked, what did I feel in it? I felt hips and a little bit of lower quad. But realistically, when I go back and run my calculations, my last chain lift kind of says I'm about 10 pounds heavier on my squat, right? My max squat. Last time I did that lift with that chain weight was only 502, just like I did on that first rep. If I'm only 10 pounds stronger on my squat, 20-pound jump was too much. I should have only gone 10. Okay, I got PR greedy. Now, do I regret that? No, absolutely not. I also noticed on the way down that we missed depth a hair on that one. Not the first one, not the 502. And it's because the weight was just getting to me on the way down. I knew on some level I wasn't going to get it on the way down, which was ironic because I always tell you guys I always know when I unrack a weight if I'm going to miss it or not. When I unracked it, it felt good. Thought I was going to get it, like I really did. We'll come over to what we're going to do though for the next little bit of cycle for max squats. We got a PR on the hip thrust. And you guys saw my data on the hip thrust earlier, my argument. But I think it's important to keep in mind any way you break it down. I do max squatting in addition to hip thrusts. Hip thrusts have come a long way in helping bring up my max squat. But obviously hip thrust isn't the only movement I do. And I do max squatting, so I have specificity of training. So when people make that point where you don't have specificity, I max squat every 4 days. If you want to get your max squat up, that is training specificity. Volume does not carry over. Okay, and I want to make that very, very clear. If you think doing 10 rep sets with a classic lift teaches you to perform the movement once you're no longer a novice lifter, you're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. There is no movement pattern carryover with weights that light. That's not how it works on these lower skill lifts. It's not like you're doing Olympic lifts that are high skill where you're doing doubles and triples with a 10 rep max. Okay. But we got a hip thrust PR. 445 for 5x10. Right? We got them. So that's a PR. So we're growing the muscles of the squat. Keep training everything, and I think what we're going to do, I'm going to go over to pause squats for just a bit. So I'm going to go to chain pause squats for this next rotation. I'm going to go ahead and pause at the bottom. Why? Because some of my chain squats I'm missing depth, what I feel is appropriate depth, okay, when I get heavy. I want to get used to pausing at the bottom again, back to making sure we're hitting depth like with the box squat, and by using chains I'll still be handling a heavy weight. I'll have to handle eccentric loads and lockout weights and weights on my back heavier than my 1 rep max still, even when pausing. So I don't want to lose that. That's a big part of what I'm doing these days. The chains have been very, very successful in bringing up my squat and deadlift maxes. I don't want to lose that advantage, but I'm going to mess with some pause work and start doing 1 count pause squats for all my PRs for a bit. And I think that'll help me kind of sort all my situations. It'll give me time to work a little bit on depth, making sure I'm hitting depth when I'm handling a really heavy eccentric from chains, while I continue to hypertrophy my quads, hamstrings, glutes, hips, All those muscles we need to squat, we need to keep hypertrophying them. Now here's the other thing, and it goes to show you everyone freaks out about a mislift. I just missed a 1 rep max squat. I got stapled to the ground. Did I get hurt? No. I PR'd on both supplemental lifts afterwards. I just hit 2 PRs for volume. Okay, I did the hip thrust afterwards. I added 5 pounds to my 5x10. It was hard on the last set. It was challenging. I was cramping a little. But that's after missing a max. You can't let that get to you. You can't get bummed about it. You go in and you train. It should motivate you to keep going. Same thing. We got over to these glute bridges. Sorry, glute ham raises against bands. Can't talk today. Forgive me, guys. I'm babbling. But we used the same mini band. I got 4 sets of 12, and the 5th set I got 13. Now I was trying to build a 5x12, and then we would try to add from there. So what I will try to do next time, I'll see if I can get an extra rep again next time. Then I'll start moving the reps up, then go to 13s. Okay, I might even go all the way up to 15s on these, and then increase the band. Okay, I think that's reasonable. That's evidence of growth, hamstring hypertrophy. Well, we just hit a big deadlift PR2, and we saw my hamstrings pull through the weak point, the sticking point, really fast. We know my hamstrings are kind of possibly my limit now that my grip is caught up on my deadlifts. So we need to see that. Okay, we need to see that. Also, kind of my other thing I'm going to do is work on just getting those hamstrings big enough to bounce off of them out of the bottom of a squat. A lot of people are like, I don't see how hamstrings can help. And it's like, well, number one, they're a dynamic stabilizer, and they do contribute. They just don't get as good a stimulus. Your hamstrings aren't going to grow very well from a squat, I'll tell you that. Number one, they're a dynamic stabilizer. Can help the quad contract harder. Number two, if you get them big enough, you can bounce off of them like a cushion. If you can bounce off of them like a cushion, your lower quads don't have to fire quite as hard to get you out of the bottom. It's like having cheater knee wraps. And you get them big enough to bounce off of, and you go use knee sleeves like most raw feds now allow us. Raw. They count that as not wraps. See where I'm going with this? Okay. Get those hamstrings big enough, it'll put some significant poundages on your squat. Then we went over to rows. Now we get to these, and I did my 5x15. I ended up just cranking out 16 reps without regripping on the last one. People are like, what got into you? Because I'm normally really tired towards the end of these. I've complained in the past about glitter on my platform. I'm not going to get into the whole backstory. I've been cleaning up glitter in my condo for 2 years. I have a hatred of glitter. And I look down, and even though I have mopped this place 40 or 50 freaking times and thought I've sucked every crevice out with a vacuum cleaner, trying to get all the glitter out, and this was before I even put this platform down. I always find glitter on my platform. I saw a piece of glitter right between my feet, a little star-shaped piece of glitter, which is what I've been cleaning up for years. People who know backstories can surmise how it got there. But that piece of glitter pissed me off so bad that I squeezed the crap out of that bar and got like 16 reps with no regrip all the way through. My sheer anger at that glitter. So hell, technically that's a rep PR on the rows, especially for no regrip on the final set. So we PR'd on everything except the squat. And the squat should have PR'd though. Honestly, guys, had I not been greedy and just gone 10 pounds lighter, it would have been different. And no, I mean, I will want to reiterate that. People are like, oh, you just misgrooved. No, guys. Anyone who pulls that stupid line, I misgrooved. You tell me you don't know how to squat? Tell me you don't know how to bench? These are not that difficult of lifts. You didn't misgroove. You're just not strong enough. Usually when you misgroove, and it's going to piss people off. Oh my God, I'm going to get hate for this. Usually when you misgroove, it's because you were weak and you had a weak muscle that pushed it into the wrong direction trying to compensate for your weakness. Okay? Guys, you say, oh, I misgrooved. I'll get it at comp. I'll get it at meet. Well, I don't know about that. You can't groove it right with that weight in the gym. What are you going to do under the pressure of competition? So just get stronger. We don't make excuses. I don't make excuses. I put 10 pounds too much on the damn bar. That's my excuse. That's why I missed the lift. I put a little too much weight on there. I was not strong enough to lift that weight. I need to get stronger. I need to work harder. there you go. There's my excuse. My excuse is I wasn't strong enough. I got greedy. So then we finished up with 5 sets of curls to failure. Now you guys will notice as I go through these, I lose reps. I get like 20, 18, 16, and it gets down to like 12 or 13 in the end. I took pretty short breaks. And, you know, people were like, why the curls? Well, obviously they'll help me as a YouTuber, especially when I cut later. But, and I've already said, I want to get a 600-pound squat, and then we'll cut. We'll cut a little bit and then try to keep that squat. So, they're important, right? Bicep training helps keep biceps from tearing during the deadlift. And I'm also still doing the band work. So I'm doing these on all my lower body and back days because I'm rowing already. Biceps are already fatigued. If I'm going to train biceps, this is a really good time to add in 5 sets of curls. My biceps are already worked pretty hard. Let's go ahead and just make sure that we stimulate an effective training volume, right? Because maybe the rows, 5 sets of rows might not be enough to give me a training response. It's enough to get me part of the way there. But if I finish off with 5 sets of high rep rows to failure, especially stuff like the chains, right? Get that really hard peak contraction up at the top. Because we're also working that other end that doesn't maybe get worked as hard as the rows. The rows work it really hard out of the bottom though. We'll go ahead and get some adaptation. Biceps will grow. Okay. They also matter to the bench press. There's data on that. That's not me making that up. Yes, we could argue about the cushion effect, but there is definite bicep stimulation on an EMG on the bench press, and I need everything I can do to get my bench press up at this point. I have to explore every avenue. But I'm happy with the training session. I'm happy even though I missed a lift. Just got to get stronger. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.